What is going on, everybody? We are live here on Knicks Media. Hold on, we have some technical difficulties to start it off. Let's get this camera working. I'm frozen on you guys. Hold on one sec. All right, we are back, baby. Let's do it. Let's get into business. All right. Hold on one second. Everybody hit the like button on your way in. Hit that like button on your way in right now, chat. Hit that like button. Come on now. The Knicks are coming off a big win last night. I'm excited to talk about it. I really am. I'm excited to talk about it. Here we go. Let me just make sure we're all good to go. And let's get it started. Welcome, everybody, to Knicks Media, live on Bleacher Report, live on YouTube at the same time. We're excited right now because the New York Knicks are coming off a big-time win last night. Jalen Brunson, call him Mr. Clutch. We're going to talk about all the latest you need to know about your New York Knicks in this show. We have unfortunate news to get into about the latest injury to Ariel Hukporti. It is definitely not what you want to hear as a Knicks fan, suffering a torn meniscus, out 4 to 6 weeks. That's not good news. Absolutely not good news for these New York Knicks. He had a start last night, filling in for Karl Anthony Towns, and he had an opportunity to go out there and make some noise, and he did. He looked good last night. I was very pumped up to see the rookie get a start, and he played well just for the Knicks to lose their rookie. But the good news is Mitchell Robinson is coming back. Mitchell Robinson is on his way back. He could be playing tomorrow night, folks, in a limited capacity. It's not official yet, but that's what the streets are saying. Shout out to CP the Franchise, Knicks Fan TV, who is also a host here on Bleacher Report. He reported himself that you can expect Mitchell Robinson to be back on Friday, potentially, against the Memphis Grizzlies. So that's a plus, and that's definitely something we got to talk about. But there's a big narrative around this Knicks team after them suffering losses to the Cleveland Cavaliers and also suffering a loss to the Boston Celtics the way that they did. We talked about that on Tuesday. And now you look at what this Knicks team is capable of. They went up against the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that you have to be able to beat, a team that you need to prove you can go out there and beat. Listen, the Sixers are not a good basketball team. Let's keep it a buck here. They're not. They're on a, 8-9 game losing streak. Joel Embiid is banged up all over again. He's not playing. And the Knicks had to get that dub. And last night, the Knicks were dominating all game long just to let the Philadelphia 76ers come all the way back and steal the lead. But what the New York Knicks have, which is something I want to focus on in this show, is the clutch player of the year on their team. I'm wearing the t-shirt. Jalen Brunson. Okay, this guy should win clutch player of the year this year. I really do believe that. He is the favorite to do it. If you go look at all the odds, he is the favorite right now to win clutch player of the year, and it's justified. You go look at the stats. He is number one in every single clutch metric. And I've never been so proud to have a player on my Knicks basketball team because of the reason of him going out there in the clutch and executing when we need him to the most, right? High pressure situations. You give the ball to Jalen Brunson, he will go out there and get the job done. That is exciting because I've never had that sense of confidence in a Knicks player. I mean, Carmelo Anthony back in the day, he can go out there in the clutch and win some games for us. Absolutely. He was the last one to do it. But the reason why Jalen Brunson has this sense of, gives me the sense of belief is he has so much confidence himself. He's so calm, cool, collected. Did you see the look on Jalen Brunson's eyes when he was about to check back into the game after a timeout when the 76ers went on a run and took the lead back? He literally looked like just so focused, he's like, oh yeah, the Sixers are all pumped up right now. Just watch what I'm about to do. He goes on a 9-0 run himself. Clutch three-pointer, getting to the rim, floater in the paint, getting to the free throw line, hitting his free throws. Jalen Brunson is different, bro, and it's just something that Knicks fans should cherish here because it's been a while since we had a face of the franchise, someone like Jalen Brunson that can go out there and execute in the clutch. And there's no way that regular season win against the 76ers is going to convince anybody that we're going to go far in the NBA playoffs, meaning just past Boston or past Cleveland. We get that, but it definitely shows you that we have a closer. And you need a closer in order to go win in the NBA playoffs. And Jalen Brunson has also proven that he's not someone that shies away from the big moment. He's not someone that crumbles in the playoffs. He's someone that levels his game up in the postseason. That is something to note here. Jalen Brunson has 2 playoff appearances as a New York Knick. And you can even go back to his time in Dallas. When he filled in for Luka Doncic back in Dallas, when Luka was hurt, he went out there and put the Dallas Mavericks on his back and led them to a Western Conference Finals appearance. And then 2 years ago, Jalen Brunson absolutely balled out in the playoffs. Last year, balled out in the playoffs. Putting up numbers, man. Absolute crazy numbers. 40-point game, 40-point game, going out there in the clutch. Jalen Brunson is that guy. And the weapons that they added around him gives me confidence that they can figure themselves out. Now, I know there's a giant narrative, which is justified. The Knicks are not going to be able to get past Boston. They're not going to be able to get past Cleveland. And you got to get through Boston first before you can even entertain Cleveland, because you look at the way the Eastern Conference is structured right now. The Knicks are in 3rd place. Boston's in 2nd. Cleveland's in 1st. Now, if the season would end today, the Knicks would be facing off against the Detroit Pistons in round number 1. Now, the Pistons are low-key the hottest team in ball. They're on an 8-game winning streak. The Cavs are also on an 8-game winning streak, so we'll say it's a tie. But the Knicks would have to get through the Detroit Pistons, who is a young, hungry team, and say the Knicks beat the Pistons in round 1 and 6, or maybe even 7. The Knicks are going to have to go up against Boston in round 2. Hypothetically, Boston wins round 1, which we're all assuming that's going to be the case. That's going to be, oh my goodness, that's going to tell everything you need to know about the status of this Knicks team, because there's a lot of talking heads about if Tom Thibodeau is his job on the line. If we just bounce again 3 straight years, going to the semifinals and losing, is Tom Thibodeau's job in the air? And I'm here to tell you, if you made a poll on Knicks Twitter or Knicks fans across the world, what's your overall thoughts of Tom Thibodeau? I bet you the poll would come back 50-50. Liking Tom Thibodeau, the other 50% not liking him. And it's sad because he's a coach of the year. He's got this Knicks team playing their best brand of basketball we've seen in a long time, but it's not good enough for some. It's not. And that's something that, Knicks fans have to come together and realize he's got to be able to get over the hump. And I think that the addition of Mitchell Robinson is going to help, but now the subtraction of Ariel Hukporti is not. We're basically, listen, Mitchell Robinson's a way better player than Ariel Hukporti. I love the upside of Hukporti for the long term. And the fact that he tore his meniscus is devastating, because that's our depth right there. If there was one position that hurts, especially now that we traded away Jericho Sims, we traded away Sims. Now Hukporti is hurt. Luckily, we're getting Mitchell Robinson back. And by the way, Cat is dealing with his own injury. Shout out to Precious Achua. He went out there and balled last night for this Knicks team, coming in off the bench, blocking shots left and right in the clutch, protecting the rim at an elite level. He is absolutely a great player for this Knicks team, man. You got to give your credit to where it's deserved. Now, I want to pivot and give somebody a big-time shout-out, because this specific player for the Knicks, I feel like, has been under a microscope, and everybody has been judging him, and I've seen way too much hate for this specific player. And listen, it's one game. You can't give him this flowers for everything, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do it. Mikal Bridges, he had a fantastic game last night, and if you watch the post-game press conference with Alan Hahn on Embassy Networks after the game, you could tell that he hears all the negativity. And it's not Mikal Bridges' fault that he was traded for 5 picks and now there's this pressure on him to be like this superstar for the Knicks. He was never an all-star. So now there's this level of pressure of Mikal Bridges that Knicks fans and NBA fans are looking at Bridges like, oh, the Knicks paid so much for me, so I got to play at this level. There's all these expectations. But I'm here to tell you, man, Mikal Bridges, let's surround him with some positivity, Knicks fans. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Surround him with some positivity, because someone like him would benefit from the Knicks fan base getting around him, because there's so many people so hypercritical of Mikal Bridges. He has a bad night. Everybody's on Knicks Twitter just adding him and going after his name. And listen, this guy is just got to the New York Knicks, learning this roster, learning the system of Tom Thibodeau, figuring out his role. And I got to give him a shout out, because with Cat down last night, the Knicks needed a secondary scorer next to Jalen Brunson, and he answered the bell. 28 points, I believe. A lot of it coming in the first quarter, getting to his spots, being efficient. He hasn't been perfect this year. He hasn't been sensational, but the guy plays hard. He's played every single game this year. I think your best feature is your availability. The guy does not miss games. He's hustling. He's putting in effort. Why do I see so much negativity thrown at Mikal Bridges' name? I just don't get it. I can't relate to it. This guy goes out there, puts everything on the line every single night. And I feel like the problem is the expectation for Bridges is all the way up here. And when he doesn't meet it, everyone gets upset. And let's lower the expectations for this guy. He got traded for 5 first-round picks, and now the expectation is he has to play like the superstar that he is. And Karl-Anthony Towns coming here, of course, is a different level of expectation. He's getting paid the big bucks. So there's a little bit more justifiable reasons for a cat to expect him to be a star. And guess what? He is. He's been playing like a star all year. First, Nick to go out there and be a starting center for the Knicks in the All-Star game in a long, long time. So there's a lot of reasons to be excited about this Knicks team. And I guess that some Knicks fans and some people are harping on the things to be concerned about, which is not getting over the hump, not being competitive against the elite of the elite, being 0-7 against OKC, Boston, and Cleveland. But I don't know about you guys. I did not expect this Knicks team this year to be on that level. And I'm being realistic. I felt like this year was the year to gain that chemistry, get used to each other, for OG Anunoby to get used to being a Knick, for Karl-Anthony Towns adjusting to the city of New York, Mikal Bridges, all these players are coming together. And I don't want to sound like a broken record or be redundant here, but there's something that OKC, Boston, and Cleveland have that the Knicks don't have. The only way the Knicks can get it is time. And that's continuity, man. That's years of growth together, learning each other's tendencies. You watch the Cleveland Cavaliers play basketball, they're playing on a string, defensively, offensively. Same thing goes with Boston. Same thing goes with OKC. And at times, you see spurts of the Knicks be able to do that, but this is their first time, the first season together as a unit. So I'm excited about the future of this Knicks team. I know that we want to go out there and win the whole thing this year. I'm not ruling it out as a complete, impossible thing here, but it's an uphill climb. If you want to be an elite basketball team, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take years of grinding. And we brought in Jalen Brunson 3 years ago. This is his 3rd season, and he has been an absolute star for this Knicks team. And I'm so fortunate to have JB as our Knicks player of this organization, man. I really, really am. And you look at where you can expect this Knicks team to go as the regular season progresses. Just because we're 0-7 in the regular season against those teams, by the way, does not guarantee we're going to lose in the playoffs. Am I so crazy to say those things? Am I? I don't think I am. You look at the NBA playoffs, it's a different world. The Knicks level up their game in the NBA playoffs. I get it. We got bounced in round 2 to Miami 2 years ago. We got bounced in round 2 to Indiana last year. But why can't this Knicks team learn from their mistakes, adjust, and play their best brand of basketball come April and May? Why can't they do that? We're just going to give up on the season? I'm not ready to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not sitting here as a Knicks fan ready to sell my stock in the New York Knicks. We've seen teams go out there and play above their expectations. And now I kind of like that this Knicks team is being underrated now. Bring it on. That's where, as a fan, I feel more comfortable when expectations go down, because now nobody's expecting the Knicks to achieve great things. And I guarantee you, Jalen Brunson himself and this entire Knicks team took those games against Cleveland and Boston as a wake-up call. And by the way, he even said that himself on his podcast, The Roommate Show. They talked about that on the podcast. They felt like that was embarrassing. Of course it was. Going on primetime television and getting blown out like that when you're supposed to be at least in the same conversation as, you got an elite basketball team against a great basketball team. Should be a good matchup, but instead it looked lopsided. That needs to be a wake-up call. Adversity could be a reason for growth, or it could be a reason to spiral down out of control. And it's up to this Knicks team to stay together and believe in themselves, because if they start pointing fingers and say, it's your fault, it's your fault, we're not working, then things are going to get ugly. Or you can use these games as adversity. And I'm here to tell you, this Knicks team has proven in years past and this season that they handle adversity very well. They're strong-minded. We've seen this Knicks team go on lows, and then they come out and go on a brand new high, 9 games in a row, whatever the case may be. And I feel like that's what the mindset needs to be. They need to rally the troops, come together. The leaders got to lead by example, and this Knicks team got to buy into the system, because this system has proven to work. I love it. And I feel like what Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson are able to do together, with the additions of Cat. The bench unit, of course, needs to step up. But, like, I believe in this team. Am I wrong to believe in this Knicks squad? Should I be kicking the can and just saying it's done? I don't want to do that. And I'm not saying that as a blind, hopeful, delusional Knicks fan. I watched them play basketball. I see the talent. I see the ability of OG and Mikal Bridges and all these guys. And I'm not ready to just give up. I'm not. And I really, really think you should take a deep, hard look as a Knicks fan. If you've been watching every single game, which I'm sure you all have that's watching this, that it's not over. Now, you look at what's the cap? What's the ceiling of this Knicks team? Are they going to be able to achieve great things? Why not? We went back-to-back years to the second round. Why can't we get past it? And I get it. We're going to most likely face Boston, who has our number. But I'm here to tell you, if this Knicks team can stay healthy, and oh my goodness, I hope they do. If Hukporti is on schedule, by the way, 4 to 6 weeks means he'll be back by the playoffs, because in 4 to 6 weeks, that's going to be the middle of April. That's when the postseason begins. And in a perfect world, we don't even need Hukporti playing in the playoffs, because that means Mitchell Robinson's healthy. That means Precious is healthy. And that means Cat's healthy. Hukporti's not getting any minutes when those three guys are healthy. So as much as Hukporti news stinks, it absolutely does, because he was finally getting his chance to play. We have Mitch coming back right when he went down. So that's the flip side of this thing. You can take that Hukporti news and cry about it, or you can be excited about Mitchell Robinson coming back. And this Knicks team needs to rally this troops in Mitchell Robinson in limited minutes, of course. They're not going to throw him out there and play 30 minutes a night. But I think the key, a big adjustment this Knicks team's got to make right away is starting off fast. I mean, what's with these bad starts? Now, last night wasn't the case. Last night was different. We started fast, and then we let them come back, take the lead back over us, and then we were able to win the game. But I'm talking about against Cleveland, against Boston. We let those teams punch us so fast early. It's like all of a sudden you blink, it's the end of the first quarter, but down 15. They can't do that. These teams go out there and they defend and they play hard. The Knicks got to adjust their game, play hard. And I think that's been a consistent problem this season is their effort, their toughness, and that should be their edge. If there was an edge to this Knicks basketball team, it is their toughness, it's their physicality, it's their outgrounding opponents. They got to refine that. And I feel like losing Isaiah Hartenstein in free agency, not having Mitchell Robinson all season, those two guys, those are the anchors of the Knicks last year in terms of that mindset. Josh Hart brings that hustle. Jalen Brunson brings that scrappiness. But what about the effort on defense? That's, I think, the most important piece of this entire Knicks team. The defense needs to come together and start playing the best brand of basketball. Because I always like to bring up the elite teams because that's where we're trying to be. The Knicks offense ranks at the top of the league. We are one of the best offensive basketball teams in the NBA. When it comes to defense, not so much. The Cavaliers are an elite defensive team. Boston, an elite defensive team. OKC, an elite defensive team. Last year, Boston wins the championship. They were an elite defensive team. Usually, you look at the teams that go to the NBA Finals and wins the NBA Finals, they are very good defensively. And the Knicks are usually a very good defensive team under Tom Thibodeau. So what's changed? I'll tell you what's changed. Personnel. It's different. We don't have a rim protector right now. I mean, no disrespect to Cat or even Precious Achiuwa. Precious has been the only guy that's consistently protecting the rim, but you need more than that. But it's not just rim protection, though. It's defending the three-point line. It's not playing drop coverage. It's playing on a string, communicating. When there's a screen coming, you got to communicate. Who's stepping up? Are we switching here? Build a wall in the paint. Like, there's so much to the defensive mindset of this Knicks team where it feels like the Knicks defense has been better in years past than it is now, which is why I know they have it in them. It is a shift in personnel. Mitch is coming back, which is going to change that because he is the best player on this team defensively. You can argue OG Anunoby could be right there, but that's not the case. And I think with Mitchell Robinson returning, it's going to open up this defense to a new level. I really believe that. I don't think it's going to solve all of our problems. There needs to be other, issues that come and get solved here. But I think Mitchell Robinson returning is going to free up Mikal Bridges and OG to focus on the perimeter a little bit more. And if somebody comes down low, Mitchell Robinson will be there waiting. And then we can have those three guys suffocating, hopefully. Josh Hart getting into the passing lanes. Jalen Brunson sacrificing his body, drawing those charging penalties. So I feel like You got to be able to trust the system because we've seen Tom Thibodeau's system work in this league. But the big question is it connecting into today's modern day NBA? That's a big question where I feel like every single Knicks fan is wondering. Does Tom Thibodeau's style of coaching work in the modern day NBA? That's a big thing. That's a big ask. Offensively, for sure. You can see it. You want to know what? Tom Thibodeau adjusted to the modern day NBA on that side of the ball. I'm seeing more threes shot than we've ever seen before with the Knicks. They're playing with pace. They're pushing the ball in transition. And I feel a more flow nature on offense. But on defense, it feels like he's very stuck in his roots of the style of defense that he plays. And I'm here to tell you, the scheme of Tom Thibodeau requires a big fella down low protecting the paint at all costs. And last year, the Knicks had an elite rim protector on the floor for 48 minutes between Hartenstein and Robinson. Now, Robinson was hurt for a lot of last year too, of course, which gave Hartenstein that chance to go out there and play, a lot of minutes, which got him paid in the open market. But there has to be an adjustment. There has to be a buy into the system. And, excuse me, take a quick sip of water. My least favorite thing about this season is, I've seen some people say this Knicks, they're so upset with the Knicks. And then I look up, we're 38-20. We're 18 games above 500. We're the third seed in the East. What do you expect? Perfection? You expect to be a dynasty right now? Is that what Knicks fans expect? Come on. Let's be realistic here. Let's buy into what this team is and surrender to the fact that maybe we're not an elite team yet. And that's okay. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm enjoying this season. I'm enjoying the ride, man. The ride has been great. The ride of this team has been phenomenal. This has been a lot of fun watching this Knicks team play basketball. But then, of course, you turn on the TV when they're on national television against the elite of the elite, and then it's kind of a wake-up call, okay, we're not at that level yet. Yet is the key word. I genuinely believe that this Knicks team could be on Cleveland, Boston, OKC's level one day. And it may take next year to do that. It may take another year to build out the bench, another year for this team to figure each other out. I'm not saying punt on this season. I'm not saying lower your expectations. But I'm here to tell you guys, if your expectations as a Knicks fan is to be an elite basketball team and to go win an NBA title right now, you're setting yourself up for failure. My hope going into this year is that we can improve by going into the Eastern Conference Finals. And now that feels a little bit less likely just because of the way the East is going. I mean, last year we were the second seed. Cleveland was not as good as they were. So we were able to avoid Boston and Cleveland in the playoffs last year, right? Being able to beat Philadelphia in round one last year, which, by the way, some people wanted to avoid Philadelphia last year in the playoffs. I did not. Bring on Philadelphia. We beat them in 6. And then we're up 2-0 against the Pacers in round 2 just before OG gets hurt. And then all the injuries catch up to the Knicks, and we lose in 7, and we don't go to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I feel like the Knicks right now, we feel like we need to go into the Eastern Conference Finals this year in order to feel like it's a success. But if the Knicks go to round 2 and take Boston in game 7 and we lose, is that a failure of a season? To lose to the defending champions in a game 7? What do the Knicks need to do to feel like this is a step in the right direction? If the Knicks beat Boston and go to the Eastern Conference Finals and then lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers in that series, is that a failure? Is this a championship season or bust? Newsflash, this is not a 1-year going all in to win a championship. That's not the model that Leon Rose has built here at all. This is not a 1-year thing, and I hope that Knicks fans can open their brains to that reality that this isn't a Knicks team that's assembled to go all in and win a championship just now, and then we're sacrificing our future. This is a Knicks team that's building for sustainability, which is important here. The Knicks have been slowly, carefully making these trades throughout these last 4 years, trading for Josh Hart for a first-round pick, Cam Reddish, trading for OG Anunoby, flipping RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly, right? Trading for Mikal Bridges with the draft picks that we felt was necessary for it. Trading for Karl Anthony Towns. Signing Jalen Brunson. All these moves has been built to find the Knicks core that can build chemistry for the long run. Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson are stars in this league in their prime. Stars in this league in their prime. So that's something you got to be able to come together, man, and realize that we may not be all there just yet. We got some breaking news according to Shams. Woo! Mitchell Robinson news. You guys ready for this? Let me put it on your screen here. Let me put it on the screen. Breaking news from Shams of ESPN. All right, I'm going to put it on your screen. As you can see, Mitchell Robinson has been upgraded to questionable to play and will make his Knicks season debut as early as Friday against the Memphis Grizzlies. League source tell ESPN Robinson's plan to return during team's trip in Memphis and Miami on Sunday. Let's go. You guys let me know right now how this makes you feel. Mitchell Robinson is coming back, folks. Tomorrow or against Miami. This is big time. This is absolutely big time. Shout out to CP the Franchise, by the way, from Knicks Fan TV, because he was first on this, which is awesome to see. Shout out our very own. I feel like this is big. And it's sad that it takes an injury to Ariel Hukporti to take away the excitement. But I'm telling you guys right now, Mitchell Robinson coming back could be massive for so many different reasons. So many different reasons. And I'm excited about it. I really, really am. Because what the Knicks have been lacking is an athletic big man that can run the floor and block shots, catch alley-oops, get second chance opportunities. And I feel like I'm not expecting this Knicks team to, throw Mitchell Robinson out there on the floor for 30-plus minutes a game. They're going to be smart. They're going to slowly make his way in, 100%. They're going to slowly allow Mitchell Robinson to get comfortable on the floor. And they're not dumb. They understand that Mitch is coming off a terrible injury that took a long time for him to come back. The best possible scenario here for this team is that Mitchell Robinson gets better and better and gets into shape and gets healthier as the season goes on, and he's at 100% come the playoffs. That's all we need, because let's not forget what Mitch did in the postseason 2 years ago and last year. That's big time stuff. Let's not act like Big Mitchell Robinson does not have a positive impact on this Knicks team. You can argue he is the X factor, because we haven't even seen, and think of this right now, Knicks fans, think of this. We have not seen the full potential of this Knicks lineup yet once this season. We're about to. We are about to see it this weekend. If Cat's back. If Cat's not back, we're going to have to wait. With the starting five of Brunson, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, and Cat, and a bench that consists of Deuce McBride, Cameron Payne, Mitchell Robinson, Precious Achiuwa, and Landry Shamet. I mean, that is a lot of resources. Those are three players coming off the bench defensively that I absolutely love. Deuce McBride, Precious Achiuwa, Mitchell Robinson. And then the starting lineup, you got OG, you got Bridges that can help defensively as well. So I think this is a very, very positive sign that Mitchell Robinson's coming back this weekend. He could play tomorrow against Memphis, or he could play on Sunday against Miami. I'm excited to have Mitchell Robinson back. You guys should be too, man. This is exciting news. Very, very exciting news. Very, very exciting news. Folks, if you did not have already, make sure you download the Bleacher Report app, all right? Make sure you guys download the Bleacher Report app. It is where you could find me live every single Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. EST. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys can follow me on the Bleacher Report app as well. We'll be breaking down all things New York Knicks all season long, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. EST. I'm your host, Richie Milora. We got exciting things brewing here on Knicks Media, because the Knicks are destined to make a playoff run. We are entering the month of March. I think March is arguably one of the most important months of the NBA regular season. That's when the second half comes in. That's when teams are really trying to dive deep into finding their ultimate playoff run. They want to get their chemistry right. They want to get momentum. I'm someone that believes in momentum going into the playoffs is everything. If you can go into the postseason on a winning streak or playing your best brand of basketball, that's going to go into there, right? You see some of these teams that are like the 7th seed, 6th seed, 5th seed that pull off upsets in the first round. It's because they go into the NBA playoffs with momentum. Even the 1st, 2nd, 3rd seeds, if they go into the playoffs with momentum. So I'm excited about it. I got my Mitchell Robinson jersey, so I may have to put it on tomorrow because that's my guy. Mitchell Robinson, welcome back, man. Let's go. That fires me up. That fires me up, man. That really, really does. So let's go, Knicks. Much love to everybody in the chat and watching me live right now on YouTube and on Bleach Report at the same time. Salute to the chat, man. Let's go, Knicks. Let's keep the vibes up. Let's keep the energy. Let's try to rally around this Knicks team and pump some positivity, pump some energy, because this Knicks team deserves it, man. They're a great team, and I'm excited about it, man. I really, really am. Of course, I got a Mitchell Robinson jersey that I'm ready to put on tomorrow. He's my long-lost twin. Fun fact about Mitchell Robinson. Me and him share the same exact birthday, day and year. Okay, April 1st, 1998. We're both 26 years old, about to turn 27 on April 1st. That's why I have a connection with Mitchell Robinson, man. The longest tenured Knick. Love Mitchell Robinson. Welcome back, Big Mitch. Let's go. I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Enjoy the Knicks game tomorrow night, and we'll catch you later. Let's go, Knicks. Peace out.